All right, we have the Islander Amerigraph Bethpage here in studio today. This watch is indeed assembled in the good old United States of America. This is actually my favorite watch to date from Long Island Watches, and I want to give a huge shout out to Mark and his team for sending this out for review. Now, with Long Island Watches, I like them for quite a few different reasons. Customer service, one, and number two, you get a lot for your money, so you get a lot of value for your dollar spent. Awesome, right? So, before we get into the review, you'll definitely want to stay tuned to the end of the review because while I was shooting some B-roll, I noticed a few things about this watch under macro lens that I wasn't expecting. So you'll definitely want to stay tuned for that, and also Long Island's response to it. Does it impact my review? Well, you'll see at the end of the video as well, but quite honestly, I just told you this is my favorite and it hasn't changed. So with that being said, let's just dive into the review. All right, so we have my favorite Islander to date on the channel. This one indeed is a mouthful. It is the Islander Bethpage Amerigraph with brushed black dial and chronograph function. This is for short ISL-201. So why the Bethpage? Well, the Islander Bethpage is named after the town where the Apollo Lunar Module was designed and built. And we actually have that etched right there on the buckle there, or on the clasp. Pretty neat there. And like the lunar module, which is the only craft that landed humans on the moon, this watch is assembled in America. All right, and it actually is the Amerigraph. And why the Amerigraph? Well, it's an actual trademark term that denotes an American assembled watch with a chronograph movement. So the movement in this watch is actually an Ameriquartz 7C01 movement. And what's really neat about this is the fact that it has an exhibition case back, which is a really, really neat move, guys. I know, a lot of you guys like that case back with all the information on it. Well, they do that as well here, but you also get something, at least a reason to take off your watch and say, hey, look, guys, look at my movement. I think it's interesting, and I think it's a nice touch. Another nice touch as well is the fact that it tells you what battery to put in here. SR920SW or 371 will fit in here. A lot of times, guys, we'll take the battery out, we might lose the battery, and then we have no idea what battery to put in the watch. Or sometimes you can buy a watch that doesn't have a battery in it, right? And then you're like, well, what battery does it take? So it's nice that they have the information there for you. So I really like that touch big time. So very, very nice. And again, this movement is actually accurate to plus or minus 20 seconds per month. And you should get about 3 years out of this battery, even with the chronograph usage. So that's not too bad. When we take a look at the watch itself, we'll start with this bezel here. This is actually a ceramic bezel. And we get luminescence all throughout the indices and the numbers here. So the hash marks and the numbers will be fully lumed with C3 Superluminova, which is really nice. And you get that military, GMT time. I like that touch. And when we take a look at the dial itself, okay, we actually get a brushed black dial here, and we do get, as you saw there, anti-reflective coating underneath there, which is really nice. Sapphire crystal. It is a bit domed, as you could see there, so you get a little bit of that distortion. Very nice touch. We do get the seconds, so this is actually a chronograph function. So I'm going to reset it just like this. Check that out. So you get the seconds at the 6 o'clock, which is the elapsed time, and then you get the minutes at the 9 o'clock position. And another really cool function here, because this is a really functional watch, you get the day-night indicator with this 24-second sub-hour. So right now it's 11 o'clock at night, but you can also see that it's approaching 23 hours on there. So you kind of get it both ways there, right? On the chapter ring and also here. But I like the fact that you get that day-night here on that sub-dial. It's pretty neat how they split that up. Someone in the comments on my Instagram post actually stated that this was looked like a winking panda, right? Or a winking reverse panda even. Which now that you said it, can't unsee it, right? In certain lights, the sub-dials are actually a different color. So these two are more of a grayish, and this one is definitely more white and matches the chapter ring that you see here with the contrasting red indices there. It's more of like a railroad track pattern. Our handset here, the hour and minute hand have luminescence here. They're like fence style. And then our second hand has the lollipop, not at the counterbalance, but at the tip. Now our handset at the sub-dials, none of them are loomed. We do get the silver polish at the 3 o'clock day-night indicator. And by the way, it does say US movement there, USA movement in red. Okay. And we get red sub-dial second hands for these two here. Pretty neat. Now we take a look at the case, we get brushing and polishing. So look at that. You get a beautiful, beautiful polished edge there that goes all throughout. And then you get that brushing. It's a nice contrast there. Really nice job, by the way, on that brushing and polishing. This is very reminiscent of an Omega Seamaster case. The way that he did this, very, very nice. But yeah, if you put a Seamaster and this side by side, at least case-wise, you'll definitely see where Mark took some cues from the Omega Seamaster. Speaking of Omega Seamaster, this bracelet screams Omega, which is really well done, by the way. These are all solid links. And I wish that every brand did what Mark does here with these links. These are screw links, only one side. So you simply take the screwdriver that he actually supplies with every one of his watches that require link removal. And these links are super simple. It takes me literally less than 5 minutes to size this bracelet. Now, we take a look at the clasp. We get 3 micro adjust, plenty for this watch with the scissor milled clasp, dual deployant with the safety clasp. Nicely done. As I said, this is my favorite watch from Mark so far that he sent in. When we take a look at some measurements here, we get a 40 millimeter case diameter. This is actually 13.5 millimeters thick. And by the way, when we take a look at the side view, side profile, we do get the Islander logo, coin edge here. Not a screw down, by the way, but it is a hacking movement. I hate to skip around there. My apologies, but there you go with that. Now, when we take a look at the lug width, it is a 20 millimeter, so it's going to be a strap monster for sure. This thing weighs in at 163 grams, and it's also very wearable at 47 millimeters lug to lug. Now, I'm going to place it on to my 7-inch wrist and show you guys how it looks on the wrist. Now, we don't have any time grapher stuff today since this is a quartz movement, so we'll have to take Mark's word for it on his site, where you're going to get about plus or minus 20 seconds a month. It's what you expect from, a quartz. It's not too bad at all. But here we go. Watch wears very, very nicely on the wrist, and you could see how the case catches that light. Very, very nice. And I love that ceramic bezel there. And the fact that it's loomed, very nice touch. You also get the luminescence on the indices as well. And I'm going to show you guys a loom shot right here. Very nice loom. You get C3 all throughout the watch, which is just very, very, very nice. He did a very good job with that. Mark does offer a 1-year warranty on his watches. He does stand by his product. And, I've even heard where it's gone a little bit past and he still will you know, he'll consider it on a case-by-case basis. But there you go, guys. This is the Islander Amerigraph, otherwise known as the ISL-201. If you're looking for this watch is coming in at, what is it, $349 currently. And I just find this to be a really nicely done watch, and it's a very practical watch. It does everything you need it to do. So
I wasn't going to do an outro to this video, but after doing some B-roll shots and going back and forth with Long Island watches regarding what I saw, well, I'm just going to put it up here on the screen. Under macro lens now, guys, I noticed 3 distinct QC issues. Now, I will say this, that with the naked eye, I don't care how close I got, I could not see these issues. So first and foremost, I'd like to say that if you truly love your watch, do not macro it under any conditions, okay? And I will say this, I've done this with the Omega Seamaster Planet Ocean that I had, and I've also saw some of the same type of issues that I saw with this watch. So it does happen with all brands. So I'm not trying to catch Long Island watches in any type of, QC issue problems or anything like that. But I did want to bring it to their attention because I'm an honest reviewer, and I at least just wanted to see what the response was. And they were perfectly fine with me sharing the response and saying, hey, go ahead and include us in a review. We want you to be honest. And that we're simply going to bring this up to our distributor and up the QC. So, perfect answer. And guys, let me tell you something. If there's anything wrong with your watch, even if something as minor as that, knowing Mark, and I don't think Mark would be angry at me for saying this, but if you have an issue with your watch within the warranty period, they're going to take care of it for you. So don't worry about that. But please do not macro your watch. This was just... I was seriously just trying to show you guys the beauty of this watch up close. I wasn't expecting to see these issues, but now that I see them, I can't see them with the naked eye. I mean, even knowing that they're there, I can't see it by even getting close with my eyes. So that's why I'm saying it's not a big issue, and I'm glad that Long Island Watches is owning up to it. They're going to address it. And they're perfectly fine with me being, doing an honest review, which at the end of the day, that's what I'm going to do anyway. And that's simply why I respect Long Island and why I like to do reviews for them. So there you go, guys. That's my 2 cents. You can keep the change, and always remember that there's always time to be kind to one another. Please take care of each other, and I'll see you guys next time on Average Joe Watch Reviews. God bless, my friends.